What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. This is another late night review, technically early morning review. DC's Legends of Tomorrow, episode 2. It's actually part 2 of the pilot. And pretty much did most of what I wanted. I gotta be honest. I didn't even go back to watch my first episode review. I probably should have to see, because I talked about some stuff that I was like, they could do this, and that would be really interesting. They killed off Hawkman. Very bold choice. And here's why. One, they've already talked about Hawkman and Hawkgirl both get reincarnated whenever they die. So, that can be used. He died there. Now the question is, because he died in 1975, does he get reborn in 1975? Or does he get reborn when the current time period? Because the way they handle time travel in the show so far has been brilliant. Most of the time when you talk about time travel, it gets really stupid, a lot of loopholes, but the way they've handled it so far, one, has been very clever, and two, has been good. It hasn't been stupid mumbo jumbo. They go talk to the professor. I can't remember I can't seem to remember names of these people now. I don't know. I know Hawkman, Hawkgirl. I know the Atom, but I don't know his name. I know Sarah because I've been watching Arrow on Netflix. And the two criminals, I'm gonna call them Bald Guy and Funny Guy, because the Funny Guy is the one guy that I'm gonna talk about his character in a second. I think that's it. And then you got the professor and the black guy that combine to become Firestorm. Anyway, but they see his younger self, and I'm just like, see, this is where most shows would be like, he'd be all, oh yeah, I remember this, and it's like, why? Why would you remember something so insignificant from such a long time ago? And the funny thing is, he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember all these little things that he did back then. He kind of does. He remembers his personality from back then, and you can tell how fed up he is with his personality from back then. But he doesn't, he's searching through, trying to find this prototype that he created, but he doesn't remember where he put it, because why would you? When you first create it, why would you think, okay, so I put it right in this drawer right here. I better remember this in case I travel back in time to go get. But he does remember that this day in particular that they traveled to happens to be the one where he goes to meet his future wife. He goes to this meeting or whatever. See, that makes more sense. It makes more sense that he would remember that, but not remember where he put his whatever they're searching for. So they handled that very well. And then just the fact that they even met him. They're being very careful about what they say. Even Sarah's kind of flirting with him, and whenever he leaves, the younger professor, the older one's like, you gotta stop. You can't keep flirting with me like this, because this is the day I meet my wife, and if I get tempted by you, who knows what'll happen. And so they go and they get on the ship, and as they get on the ship with the device, all of a sudden his ring starts to fade and it disappears. And he's like, we've done something wrong. For some reason I didn't go. And all of a sudden his younger self climbs aboard the ship, and you're just like, wow. And once again, in the first episode, I kept asking questions like, how much of this stuff has already happened in their timeline? Because talking about the Hawkman and Hawkgirl's son that died in the last episode. He died under mysterious circumstances in their timeline. So does this mean that all of this happened and this is how he dies? And then going back into where were they? Norway? I think it was Norway. And Savage is selling this nuclear warhead. And there was no record of any nuclear bomb going off in Norway in 1975. So obviously somebody stopped it. Somebody stopped the sale of this nuclear warhead. So was it them? And this is where the show could be really, really interesting or really, really stupid, depending on how they take this. Because, like, decisions like this, where, you know, the younger self climbs aboard the ship, and then the ring disappears. You're just like, okay, so because he climbs on the ship, like, he doesn't go to the meeting, or he's so focused on the future that, you know, how does it... But then the Time Master guy, I can't remember his name either, but he convinces the young professor to go back to the meeting, and he meets his future wife, and so now the timeline is back to normal. I'm just like, see, most of this stuff, like whenever the Atom drops his piece of tech, and, you know, Savage gets it, and he shows the current timeline, you know, what it's going to lead to. Once again, I have to ask, well, obviously it doesn't lead to that, or else all of their stories would have changed. You know, like, it just, there's so much fun, cool things you can do with time travel, and stuff that can really mess with your mind and make you go, hang on, is any of this even gonna matter? You know, and it's just, I don't know, it's so fun to theorize all of this. And, you know, we'll see where it goes. But for now, like, I really like where this story is going. Now, outside of the story, you kind of have three little mini plots going on in this episode. You've got Adam and the two criminals are trying to get this knife. They suspect it can be used to kill Savage because of I don't know all of that stuff. It was some technical mumbo jumbo, like, loophole type thing that can kill him even though he's immortal. I don't get it. But anyway, they're trying to break into this house that has the knife, which of course is owned by Savage. I mean, that was pretty obvious. Meanwhile, Sarah and the professor and the guy, the Firestorm, they're all trying to break into Savage's lab after getting the device that can help them find Adam's piece of equipment that was taken by Savage. They're trying to break in to get that, and then Hawkman and Hawkgirl are trying to figure out about the knife and, you know, what it's for, you know, what happened. Hawkgirl's trying to remember her past life, and they're kind of doing this dumb but not really dumb. Like, it's just, it's hard to describe, because on the one hand, I feel like their story has already been told in Arrow or The Flash, and, you know, I'm part the way through season 2 in Arrow, and I haven't watched The Flash at all, so I feel like some of this stuff has already been talked about before, and it feels that way. You know, it feels like most of the love story that they're talking about, they've already talked about before. And so I kind of feel out of the loop because I haven't been watching these other shows, which I'm guessing is where they appeared. I don't know 100% for sure, but if that's not the case, then a lot of their dialogue just feels like, why would you have it in there if it hasn't been talked about? Because I don't know, that's just how it sounds to me. But anyway, there's that. I really hope they don't go the cliche route with these two criminals, because, man, they just crack me up. The fact, you know, if they try to go the whole these guys are criminals, but then they become heroes, I'll be very disappointed. I would prefer to see more like a Suicide Squad type thing, you know, like where they're villains, and the only reason that they're doing it is to save the world so that they can continue to be villains in this world. Not they're villains, and because they start to help out, oh, doing good actually feels good. They actually kind of discuss that a little bit, where Adam is talking to the funny criminal, and man, okay, I'm gonna talk about him really fast. The reason he's so funny is because of his voice. Like, he doesn't sound like a criminal. He sounds sophisticated, and he sounds like a proper gentleman whenever he talks. Like, just the tone of voice and the words that he uses, like, it's just, he sounds brilliant, and he kind of is. But when you compare, like, when you put him with his opposite number, this guy's just like brute force. Can I go kill a guy now? It's so funny to see them compare and contrast, and the fact that their team is hysterical to me. But they do kind of address where Adam is talking about, in a different life you could be an electrical engineer. And he's just like, well, thank goodness I'm not. And, you can see where he only gets a thrill out of being a villain. He gets a thrill out of robbing a bank or something like that. Whereas Adam gets a thrill out of saving the world. So, I would prefer that they keep that stupid storyline of these villains become heroes and become good guys because they feel good about what they're doing. I don't like that storyline all the time. I don't mind it occasionally, like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Zuko's storyline of from where he started to where he ended. That was well done, but that's not always called for. That's not always the storyline you need. So anyway, that's just my opinion on that. And then the final storyline, like I said, Sarah and Firestorm trying to get Adam's piece of suit back. And that, I already talked about that and how well done the time travel stuff was as far as affecting the timeline. So, all in all, a very good opening to the season. And kind of leaves open a lot. First of all, now they all feel like they're doing their mission because of Carter's sacrifice. Because of, well, not sacrifice, but the fact that he died. What? I guess because they said his name a lot at the end. I remember Carter is Hawkman. I don't know. So weird how I remember some names and I don't remember others. Anyway, but it is a good opening, and it kind of leaves the storyline open to what's going to happen next, because the main what's it called? The main goal is still the same, to kill Savage before he destroys the world. But now the way they're going to do it is kind of left open. Because, they're stuck in 1975 for the moment, but that can all change. So I'm very interested to see where this season is going and what they're going to do here. And how it's all going to tie together. Because one of my biggest issues with the DC shows so far is the lack of connectivity. Whereas you look at Marvel, and they've connected everything. And so, like, you've got the Suicide Squad and Arrow and a Suicide Squad movie coming out soon. So, it doesn't connect well, but the fact that these three shows are kind of interconnecting between Arrow and Flash and now Legends of Tomorrow is good to see. So hopefully they do some interesting stuff with Arrow and the Flash, maybe involved a bit. Maybe they go back into the present time and try to kill Savage there. Who knows? But yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where these characters go. Very curious to see if they decide to bring Hawkman back at all, or if he's just dead, like for good. I'd be surprised though if he does not come back at all. Oh, I'm starting to yawn. Crap. It's too freaking early, not late, early, to be doing a review. But I will. I think that's about it for this episode. Just mainly the fact that, see, this is what happens when you try to do a review way too early in the morning. You forget stuff. This is probably the last thing I'm going to talk about. The opening. Oh my gosh. brilliant. Like, the way they opened the show, we were not even 5 minutes in, and the action kicked off. And it was good action. It was not, like, gonna step on some toes, Supergirl action. You know, Supergirl action is... Yeah, she really looks like she's flying. Oh, that doesn't even look like a person. Is that a rubbery costume? What is that? No, this is action. That's not. I mean, the fact that before we even see the logo pop up, you know, Legends of Tomorrow or whatever, all the 3 shows do, I guess. Before that even starts, so much action, explosions, all of it just going crazy. You know, crap hits the fan. It's incredible. Ooh. It's a great way to start. And especially because one of the things that makes this show so intriguing is the large cast of superheroes. You know, like in a TV show. That just makes it all the better when you see them all fighting together. And a pretty good tracking shot in a TV show, even better. You know, like, because you think about some of the greatest tracking shots in, you know, some movies, like, probably one of the most recent ones that I can remember is in Star Wars, you know, that the one tracking shot where he, you know, Poe's up in the fighter, like, taking out enemies, and Finn is on the ground taking out guys, and you just see it all unfolding. Great tracking shot. I really hope I'm calling it by the right name, but they have that one where, you know, you see the atom like pop out of the professor's pocket, hit a guy, and he's flying around. In the background, you see like Sarah kicking some bad guy butt, and then you see the fire and ice guys just shooting. And, you know, all of this is just taking place. I'm just like, this is so cool. I want more. And it just gets me excited because I want to see more of this. I want to see more of them taking the advantages of having such a large cast of characters, having such a good setup, and do stuff like this with it. Please continue to be awesome. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully keeps impressing. Who knows? But yeah, I'm happy with what I've seen so far. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. And, you know, let me know what you want to see later on this season. Yeah, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.